Sup, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing I want to talk about today is everyone's favorite subject, fake news. And the reason for that is CNN has been accused of faking a massive news story, a protest. There's video. Mark Antro posting on Twitter, CNN creating the narrative, hashtag fake news. Note the white police officers leaving the CNN shot and the Asian officers coming in. They then left after they went off air. CNN also timed this. BBC wanted to film it when they were on air. We're having none of it. And these posts and videos spread like wildfire. I started seeing it everywhere. And the narrative for the most part was the reporter in this video, Becky Anderson, and CNN. This is dead to rights proof that they were faking news. Now, in response to a post of this video with a caption, CNN has just been caught in a leaked video with reporter Becky CNN faking a Muslim protest against London Bridge. And to this, CNN International PR tweeted, "This is nonsense. Police led demonstrators to the cordon to show their signs. CNN, along with other media, simply filmed them doing so." And Brian Stelter of CNN added on Twitter, "Far-right wingers are misleading folks about this video. Bloggers saying CNN was caught staging fake news. Police allowed demonstrators through cordon so they could show their signs to media. CNN, BBC, AP simply filmed them doing so." And I'll say personally, the more I looked into this, the more I found that this is actually not the most uncommon practice. They take people from a protest, they move them into the best possible shot, they then showcase it. And so if you've watched me, you know I'm very obviously not a fan of CNN. I can't accuse them 100% of fake news here. Now that said, I will say that CNN and any other group out there right now that continue to use this, that it's stupid and it's going to hurt you. We are currently in a time where trust in media is at an all-time low. So if there is anyone just, even if it just looks like you're staging something, it hurts you and it's completely unnecessary. When it comes to the news, most people don't care about polish. They just want raw, real facts. If your lighting's not perfect, fuck it. Because when you do this, not only do you open yourself up to people to say fake news, look at this, you open yourself up to very valid criticisms that you are editorializing the situation. You are letting your bias. That is tainting the presentation of the news. This is something that the NPPA even talks about. The NPPA, the National Press Photographers Association, they have a list of guidelines that I think anyone covering any story whatsoever should focus on. Right in their numbered list of standards. Resist being manipulated by staged photo opportunities. Be complete and provide context with photographing or recording subjects. And these are just the ones pertaining to this situation. There's a whole fantastic list. If you're interested in jumping into this field, I highly recommend at the very least you check it out. But the reason they have these standards as they list on their site is photographic and video images can reveal great truth, expose wrongdoing and neglect, inspire hope and understanding, and connect people around the globe with the language of visual understanding. Photographs can also cause great harm if they are callously intrusive or are manipulated. And the moment you even move people, you have to be transparent because you have now put your finger in the pudding. A simple note at the top of your CNN piece where you say, you know, we have people coming out, we have taken this group, Muslim mothers, we've moved them over here because we want to ask them some questions. Boom, yes, people could criticize you for talking to a very specific group, but based off of what's happening in the world, it makes sense why you are talking to this specific group. But what really hurts CNN to me is something that Anderson says in her coverage.
And I think a poignant scene, and a scene we should sit on just for you viewers to understand exactly how people feel here on the streets of London.
She makes it sound like she just happened to stumble across this group that was just, they were standing here at the scene. That's where it goes for me personally. So we're just trying to, you know, create a nicely lit, good shot to something far, far dirtier and something I don't believe news organizations should do. And so my ultimate takeaway from this is this evidence 100% of fake news? No. Now, is it evidence of a questionable technique that taints the coverage? 100%. This is why you're seeing more and more people, especially younger people who are engaged in the news and what's happening in the world, not going to the mainstream polished sources and following people that are live streaming from the protest. People that are lending their eyes to an audience online that wants to see what is happening, what is really happening, what is raw. And so let me say this to the people in the back, the people that are part of the mainstream media. I've seen more and more people starting to cover us since we made our announcement. The people you are trying to get to watch, the people that are outside of your average age of 65 and over, rightfully so, they see polish as fake and texture as truth. Why? Well, it's because texture is reality. But all of that said, I want to pass the question off to you, and that is, what is your takeaway from this? Do you think that CNN, BBC, anyone that was filming here, they were promoting fake news? Or do you think they were trying to keep things organized, create a segment, create a frame, and that's fine? Or are you somewhere in the middle where you don't like that? You don't think they're the devil, you're not tweeting out hashtag CNN is ISIS, but you're not a fan of it, that it seems like it could be staged. Or at the very least, it hurts. I'd love to know your thoughts here. From that, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome brought to you by Squarespace.com/Phil. Squarespace, of course, fantastic place. If if you want to make a beautiful website easily. User-intuitive, all-in-one platform. You have nothing to install, upgrade, or patch ever. And on top of just having a fantastic service that I personally use, they also have award-winning customer service 24/7. Little things like that matter to me. So if you want to make the smart move like many from the nation already have, go to squarespace.com/Phil, start your free trial, and if you really like it, use coupon code Phil for 10% off your first purchase. I feel like with where the rest of this show is going to go, we need a little ray of sunshine, we need a little something, so by the end of the video you're like, oh wait, I don't want to burn down the world. And the easy standout for the main awesome thing is One Love Manchester, the event. Ariana Grande, all the artists who came together to put it on, all the people that went, all the people who have donated. It was an amazing and beautiful thing to see. It was very easy for some to criticize Ariana Grande, say that she was taking advantage of the situation, but that's it to me. When I look at this, it's bullshit. It was people coming together in the face of horror and terrorism and saying, nah, go fuck yourself, I'm not scared. And I don't even care that there was increased security. You had an attack. Around 200 miles away in London, there was another attack 24 hours before this event. Not only did Ariana Grande return to Manchester for a benefit concert, she brought tons of other celebrities. They promoted it everywhere. Not only did people tune in online, but it was slammed with people who said, no, fuck it. If people set out to attack us, to maim us, to kill us, to make us scared, it is almost our duty to stand up and carry on. Watching this, it hit me in a way I did not expect. It was such a powerful movement. Piers Morgan stopped being a dick for a second. And while I'm not a flower power kind of guy, just thinking happy thoughts and saying I love one another, that's not going to really solve the full problem. It is 100% important to remember that when someone tries to divide us by really honing in on two very human things, fear and anger, the only thing that can keep us together, that can keep us united, is remembering love. We live in a world of monsters and bullies, and that's why it is more important than ever to turn the lights on and stand up. Also, if you were moved by this or you just want to donate, this URL, that'll do it for you. And your other bits of awesome, it's kind of what you'd expect. Giant ice cream cookie sandwich, Rudy doing his thing, he's one of my favorite Viners that made the jump. And finally, a YouTuber by the name of Q Park wore a men's romper, an outfit that makes me irrationally annoyed, I don't know why. He filmed himself for 10 hours walking through NYC, and easily my favorite moment of the video was this.
Oh, my nigga in the romper! Oh, you the first nigga! Look at me a picture of my man in the romper!
That's right, that's right.
Sexy ass nigga!
And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. Coming out of that, I want us to talk about the terror attack in London. In these attacks, more than 48 were injured, 7 died. The attack took place just after 10 p.m. A vehicle driven by attackers started striking pedestrians on London Bridge and then continued to Borough Market. And reportedly, these pieces of garbage just started going down the street, going into restaurants, stabbing and slashing anyone. Some restaurant goers tried to fend off attack with broken bottles. The reports of a British transport police officer being one of the first on the scene trying to fight these 3 assailants with just a baton. He received stab wounds to his face, his head, his leg. He's in the hospital right now. The courage that officer showed is amazing. The attack continued for a few more minutes until more police arrived and they shot the 3 suspects dead. There were early reports the attackers were wearing suicide belts. Many were wondering why these bombs did not go off. It was later found that those were fakes. Now, in the aftermath of this attack and then in connection to it, 12 people on Sunday were arrested. Several more were arrested Monday morning, and the police said they have identified the attackers. And before we move forward, it's just at this point, I know that it's just words, but I do want to say my thoughts and my well wishes are with those affected by this, and I can't imagine the pain that this senseless act of terror has thrust upon your world. But back to covering this story. Now, in response to this attack, the mayor of London said that there is no reason to be alarmed, or at least that's what you think the mayor of London's quote is, if Donald Trump is your main source of news. After having tweeted, whatever the United States can do to help out in London and the UK, we will be there. We are with you. God bless. Donald Trump tweeted, at least 7 dead and 48 wounded in terror attack, and mayor of London says there is no reason to be alarmed. Then proceeding to go on a rant about his travel ban, and we'll get to that. Now, I do want to point out that the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, did say the words, no reason to be alarmed, but Donald Trump has taken them out of context. Here's what Sadiq Khan actually said.
There can be no justification for the acts of these terrorists, and I'm quite clear that we will never let them win, nor will we allow them to cower our city or Londoners. Londoners will see an increased police presence today and over the course of the next few days. No reason to be alarmed. One of the things the police and all of us need to do is make sure we're as safe as we possibly can be. I'm reassured.
I'll link to the full videos, but essentially what you have is the mayor of London saying that this terrorist attack, this will not stand. We are increasing police presence. don't be alarmed by the police. We're doing more to protect you. Don't get freaked out by this show of force. That's it. Now, in response to Trump's tweet, a representative for Khan said, the mayor has more important things to do than respond to Donald Trump's ill-informed tweet that deliberately takes out of context his remarks urging Londoners to not be alarmed when they saw more police, including armed officers, on the streets. And in response to that, Donald Trump later tweeted, pathetic excuse by London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who had to think fast on his no reasons to be alarmed statement. Mainstream media is working hard to sell it. And I say this, and you know this if you watch for a while, you know that I try to be fair for the president. The media overextends when they swing on him, when they misrepresent him. I call it out. When he messes up, I call it out. And this, what the fuck? Mr. President, you are either parroting incorrect information or purposefully misleading people on that quote. The mayor of London seems to be taking the situation seriously, has more police out there because they're taking it seriously, and doesn't want people to freak out because he's taking it seriously. I mean, I get why you're doing it. You're tapping into the same thing that got you elected. Fear, 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 anger, anger, anger. Right? These are very powerful emotions that move mountains. But you can't even seem to focus, so what you're doing is so transparent. I mean, it makes sense that you would use the situation to really hit home on your travel ban. It's one of the things I'm scared of if there's a terrorist attack here. You're going to use and politicize that. But why? While people are still fighting for their fucking lives in London, you decide to tweet about the mayor of London and then tweet, do you notice we are not having a gun debate right now? That's because they use knives in a truck. Mr. President, I say this as someone that is pro-gun. What the fuck does that have to do with anything in the now? Sure, we could go back into the age-old debate where one side says, well, if the terrorists were able to get guns easier, they would have been able to cause far more damage. And the other side says creating gun-free zones just promotes vulnerable targets. What we really need to do is make sure more people have guns so they could have killed the terrorists. But, as you pointed out, this attack took place with knives in a truck, so why are you even bringing guns into this? It's just blatantly obvious that you're politicizing this attack for your own agenda. At least when you started ranting and raving on Twitter about the travel ban and why we need the travel ban and not the watered-down travel ban, but the strict travel ban, and oh, by the way, it's definitely called a travel ban, despite my press secretary saying that I was only calling it a travel ban because you called it a travel ban. I'm literally gonna tweet, people, the lawyers, and the courts can call it whatever they want, but I am calling it what we need and what it is, a travel ban. And you know what? I was actually gonna go into this whole thing where it's like, even if it's called a travel ban, you know, what's the up and down of it? I'm exhausted. President Trump, you are an exhausting human being. And I hate that this has even derailed the story from who we should really be talking about, which are the heroes of London, the survivors of this attack. And that's where I'm gonna end this video. I know for some of you, this is gonna be your final video. Phil's a liberal cuck. He just hates Donald Trump and is aiming to crucify him despite all of his coverage in defense of the president in the past. Also, despite DeFranco's takedowns in the past of CNN and mainstream outlets for misinforming the public, in this video, it didn't crucify CNN, say it was the devil. I'm done. And some of you are gonna leave, and that's fine. My show always aims to be moderate. I have my left and my right leanings, but ultimately I aim to be fair. So because of that, depending on the video, I get called left or right, or I'm an apologist because I don't go in on Trump for every single thing. But that's because I don't aim to crucify, and I aim to hold people accountable when they are in the wrong. And so when it comes to stories like this, I do want you to look and go, do I just hate this person all the time, and it makes me hate them for everything, or also am I someone that is an apologist? If you find a person that you look up to and you look at them as if they could do no wrong, myself included for some of you, that's a line you need to look at. That's also not a healthy mindset. That's where I'm going to end today's show. Of course, this is the Philip DeFranco Show. On top of just being a show, I talk about the news, I give my opinion. I want to hear from you. So whether it be the last story, the first one, anything at all, let me know what you're feeling in those comments down below. And if you liked this video, you like what I do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss these daily videos. And actually, if you did miss the last Philip DeFranco Show, you can click or tap right there to watch that. If you want to see today's brand new behind the scenes vlog, you can click or tap right there. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.